Hey, welcome back to another Netcast. I'm Rich Lopez, Quantrix Authority. Sincerely appreciate you joining me for episode number 96, Self-Reference a Matrix. When you're doing that, make sure you use recursion first and last. What I mean by this is demonstrated in this very simple example. And I come across this a lot when I'm working with new users in Quantrix. It can be very frustrating for new users. Let's say, for example, that I have just some data here, some quantities by fiscal month. And what I want to do is I want to sum these quantities by fiscal month. Okay. Now I realize you could use a data link and you could do that. You could also use another matrix and do some using as with some timeline or just some categories using as or a select statement. You could make that happen using another matrix. But from time to time you're going to want to perform some sort of sum if calculation here. Okay. And how you would do that typically in a traditional spreadsheet is you would go out here and you'd say, well, column 16 is equal to the sum if of this range. If it equals this financial month, then bring back this value and sum it, right? You can see that as I do that, what happens is I get the same number as I have right here in this quantity. And this is just absolutely confusing to new users. I remember starting out with Quantrix about 7, 8 years ago, and just thinking, this makes absolutely no sense. Well, what needs to happen is you need to identify and say the range is really from the first row all the way down to the last row. And now your category might not be called row, it may be called like region or something else. But what you need to do is you need to specify that it really goes from this first category or this first item of the row category all the way to the end. And so how you would do that is you would say equals sum if financial month colon row first dot dot to financial month colon row last. Okay, so that gets up my whole range. What's my condition? I say it's financial month. If I wanted to throw this in here, row this, I could do that. I'm not going to because this is usually implied, so I just leave it blank or not even have it present. And then what is the range that I want to sum? Well, it's quantity colon row this dot dot to quantity colon row last. And I'm sorry, it's not this, it is actually first. Okay, it's row first. Okay, and when I do that, I should expect to see some summation going on. So again, if I were to filter on number 1 here, filter on selection, and then I were to summarize that, I would get 10, 3, 1, 10, and that's what I'm getting here using this sum if. So again, even if you're doing, say, a select and you're selecting data within the same matrix, again, you need to use this kind of first, last, and identify the category. And in this case, it's the row. And that will help you really kind of self-reference and the matrix that you're in and provide you some values other than just kind of what's straight up what is already known. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope that will help you further along down the road as you master Quantrix. If you have any questions about Quantrix, feel free to reach out to me at quantrixauthority@gmail.com. I love Quantrix. Feel free to ask me any question, whether it be about recursion or anything else. And I hope you'll join me again for another episode of Quantrix Authority with Rich Lopez.